It's true. We can indeed not hear you.
Yeah, so I'll give us credit for always being here on time.
Always
There's
starting.
always somebody whose audio does not fucking work. Happens frequently enough. We should have like a code word for when we can hear you now. Or like when all of a sudden you can hear someone that's audio was previously off, you just scream walrus. And that's what lets you know that people can hear you now, and it's not just like an incidental thing they said as a part of the conversation.
We're not just going to go with the classic penis.
Hello?
Penis.
Walrus.
Yes.
All right. Look, I did my due diligence and checked on Windows and everything else. It was just Skype that was stupid.
Sure.
That sounds no. That's par for the fucking course. So
that's what
I
every
believe
time.
Hey, so you guys recording?
Yeah,
it just started.
Well, welcome back, James.
Thank you.
Do you have?
It was pretty good.
Tell us all about it.
Perfect weather, except for one of the it only rained one of the days, and we were inside while it rained. My girlfriend's back wasn't like awful like it was the week and a half before, so no, it was a good trip. Flights were mostly okay, only delayed on the way down, and it was like an hour, so not the worst.
Can you tie it into gaming anyway?
Life does not have to operate through video games.
I agree it doesn't. But this is Jetpack Swords, a casual podcast where we talk about games, gaming, and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about. And James just got back from a Disney place that I don't remember if it's Land or World.
World. I've never been to Land, but I want to because I'd rather go to California than Florida. But that's just me.
Greg hearing about the birth of his brother's child. So did you play any good games while you were waiting? When she was in labor, did you get some hours?
I see those fucking, those posts show up on Reddit, I swear to God, once a month, just the easy karma farming posts of my wife's in labor, but here I am with my Steam Deck or my Switch. And I'm
so annoying. Those are annoying. And then the people who are satirizing it by doing the same thing as a joke or annoying, it's all just a big circle jerk.
Oh yeah, it's so annoying, right? Because it's that, or it's I ordered pizza. I ordered pizza and I got my Steam Deck while my wife's giving labor not giving labor, in labor, giving birth. And it's
all stupid.
Maybe the first one was funny, but it's not funny anymore.
I don't think it was ever funny.
The one joke that happens every single year is every year someone does the video of going into the hospital on Halloween, and it's a very serious situation, and they pan over to a doctor who has some stupid costume on, and the one that I saw this year was a doctor who's just dressed up like the Joker. And that one gets me
I've never seen that ever.
Every year there's one out there. People when people dress up in costumes in the hospital, it's very jarring, right? Depending on the situation. So every year there's a video of someone in someone giving you terrible news, someone looking after a patient who's in critical care, and they just have a really dumb costume on. Gets me every time.
But so James, while you were out,
yeah,
Packy and I, we did talk.
Good.
We recorded. We targeted a half an hour, and us, we hit an hour.
I saw the
and you're bringing it up because I assume you're bringing that up because we didn't get to talk enough about WoW, and now we want to include James in on that conversation as we extend
I can talk a little bit about it. I've dipped my toes in.
That's coming up. That's the future. That's the future. I want to talk about the past. Which is, James was telling Packy, I was playing Plague Tale Requiem, and I finally beat it. And, oh my God, the game is so fucking good. The game is so,
I haven't started it yet.
So good. All right, so, Innocence is really good. And then Requiem is just better than Innocence in literally every single way you could possibly imagine. It is just objectively better. It is, it is so good, and I cannot recommend it enough to you two or anyone listening. Go play a Plague Tale Requiem. It's only on the current gen of consoles, right? So or it's on PC too, obviously, right? But PS5, PC, or Series X or S is your only way to play. Or you can
get it for the low price of $15 a month through Xbox Game Pass.
If only.
5
Can they
minutes
sponsor
in,
us already?
You're jerking off a Game Pass game. 5 minutes in.
Hey. I explicitly, I thought
Wait,
about
did you
it.
guys
I
do it
thought
last
about
week
saying,
while I was gone too? Tell me you did it
No, of
last
course.
week.
It's
Fucking-
the
of course we
same
did. Yeah.
game.
Yeah, like fucking of course. Well, and that's the thing. To be fair, Packy, I didn't say Game Pass. I explicitly didn't. I said it's on next gen or the current gen of consoles. That's all I said.
You wouldn't
I
be
wasn't
talking
gonna
about that
mention
game
that it was on
if
Game
it
Pass.
wasn't on Game Pass, because
Oh
we
my
both know,
God.
all three of us know, you didn't pay for it. So
You know what I did pay for? Call of Duty
Call of
Modern
Duty,
Warfare
I know.
2.
I already saw. I saw you playing it like 2 nights ago. I bought it earlier today to play with Jacob. So
I have some very mixed feelings about that game.
it's fine. It's not like the best thing ever, but you know.
I'm really interested to hear because it seemed like the same when for a complete outsider who, for on the record, as we've discussed before on this podcast, I do not like that game series at all anymore. Used to play it a long time ago. Hate it now. I'm just bad at shooters and I'm salty about it.
Fair.
But Modern Warfare, when it came out, everybody was playing it. Everybody loved it. Like, even though, as always, it was Call of Duty, there was clearly issues with it. But people really liked it and people were playing. It was a Call of Duty launch. Modern Warfare 2 seems so similar to me, what I've heard about it and what they've said about the game. But, like, it seems like people's reaction to it is so lukewarm this time around.
I think, personally, if you want to hear my thoughts at least. So, as
Yeah,
someone who's
so.
played every Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, which was a console exclusive port of the PC Call of Duty 2, I think, and it was awful. It was also Treyarch's first one, I think, and it was terrible. And then I've played Call of Duty 3, which is Treyarch's like second one, and also mediocre, and then obviously everything since. Yeah, I think I legitimately have played every single one. No, I didn't play Cold War. I played the beta for Cold War, but regardless, to me, Modern Warfare 2019 felt like Call of Duty, but it definitely felt like an advancement. It was still run, gun, all balls to the wall, like stupid, mindless arcade shooter. But it definitely did have steps forward. And one, in terms of just the visuals, were like a huge step forward, which is like, not a big deal with Call of Duty, but it definitely was. The movement felt different. It had the like mounting where you can mount on corners and walls to increase your accuracy, lower recoil, and that way you're kind of like peeking around corners, but you're not actually like, it's not like a full leaning system, but it's similar, and it has the addition of making it so your recoil is reduced. Like, I know it's a small change, but being able to reload while you're actively like aiming down the sights was cool, just because like no other Call of Duty game had that before, and it just meant that you could do it like without dropping your aim. It just overall was like, it was an advancement without being like a complete redesign of what Call of Duty was. Like, it was a refinement, right?
Yeah, enough little things where it felt like a
yeah,
new
exactly.
experience.
Like, it was just a lot of quality of life stuff was better. The gunsmith system was really cool, which like they've always had. Obviously, you can put like a red dot side on your gun, but to have it one where like it's super well integrated into the game, it actually changes how the gun looks, and like it was just a gorgeous like visual design, and there was obviously like a billion attachments for like all the guns. And something I liked is that some of the attachments actually like radically changed how the gun worked. So like maybe you put this on and it makes the gun, go from full auto to single shot, but it also does more damage. Just like small stuff like that. Which, like, as someone who I mentioned before really liked Infinite Warfare, where like all the guns were super unique in Infinite Warfare. It was a very toned down but similar system that I really liked. And obviously, like, the campaign was, classic Call of Duty campaign, big cinematic masterpiece kind of thing. Nothing like super special, but it was pretty, and well acted and well put together. To me, having played the beta for 2, and now the full game, I've played it for maybe 3 or 4 hours today with Jacob, who was, on the show previously. We were playing on the PS5. The haptics are still really cool, like I mentioned when the beta dropped before. I don't remember how many episodes ago that was, but I mentioned it then. But the game itself does not do more to progress the franchise the way that 2019's did. It is just the 2019 with a different coat of paint, and not even that much different because obviously it's still running on the same engine. It's still Infinity Ward, I haven't touched the campaign yet. I've heard it's more of the same. US good guys, everybody else bad guys, whatever.
Just like real life.
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely. But, yeah, I mean, like, it's fine. I would say, for me, Modern Warfare 2019 was like, especially compared to the releases around it, was like a 9 out of 10, maybe like a 8.5 out of 10. I'd give this one like a 6.5, 7. So, like, serviceable,
wow. That's
fine.
significantly lower than I would have thought.
Really?
Still.
I mean, it's fine. Like,
it's definitely not. The more I play, the more I like it. Thankfully, the problem is like I definitely didn't have that. Like, oh fuck, I gotta play, right? Like,
yeah, I got
which
it. I talked to Jacob this morning, and he was like, "I'm gonna buy it," and I was like, "Well, I got $100 PlayStation gift card, and I'll get God of War next week, so I'll just use the gift card in Call of Duty, like whatever." So.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Which, did you get the Vault Edition then, or did you just get the...
No, I figured I'll use what's left on the gift card for God of War next week.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Vault Edition looked fucking retarded. It looked so stupid.
I'm not a big Season Pass person, like, regardless. Like, Destiny is the only game where I've been, like, super into the Season Pass, just because I like Destiny's, like, art aesthetic and the story and stuff, usually. Which I'm behind on the current, like, last 2 seasons of that, because the stuff looked stupid to me. But yeah, like, I don't give a shit about the Call of Duty Season Pass. Like, fuck that. I don't care. Especially because they keep...
Yeah.
Modern Warfare specifically, I feel like got away from a Call of Duty kind of became where it was like weed skins and like random bullshit thrown in. And as someone who definitely takes games seriously, like I know that's probably like, probably like the best trait to have where you take like a lot of things very seriously. But I like it when it was a little more grounded. And this one is definitely not as grounded in just the terms of like the character designs and stuff as 2019. And obviously like the 2019 one got to that, traditional Call of Duty point eventually anyway. But
particularly once they, well, I guess that's not 2019 specifically, but Warzone especially really suffered from that. Like particularly once Cold War launched. Yeah. And then obviously more with Vanguard, right? Like it just got progressively further from reality.
Which like
I think
it's not a big deal.
Warzone 2 not launching with the game maybe is killing some of my interest, right? Because like maybe like when I had those like kind of slow moments, I'd go play Warzone or something. Yeah, it's interesting because they did the campaign a week early, which by the way, doing the campaign a week early, fucking brilliant. Like they should continue to do that. That is truly the best part. So I haven't even played it, and yet the fact that they did it is still like the best part about this launch, right? But honestly, like James, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like, holy fuck, Modern Warfare 2 is buggy as shit.
Oh,
it is so buggy.
To me, it feels like it's in between Cold War's jank and Modern Warfare 2019's jank, which I don't know why, because like they obviously had enough time to make it and release it. Like they're not on the old release cycle where it was like really compact and close in releases. So I don't know.
It's the same game.
Yeah,
like
it basically
like how?
is the same game. They added like the water stuff. I played one multiplayer map with the water, the new quote unquote
no
new
one goes
water.
in the water.
I know. I went into the water and died, and I was like, "This is stupid."
No one fucking goes.
This is also isn't this like the third time they've tried to do like water in their multiplayer maps, and they always act like it's new every single time they do it, and I'm like, guys.
Dude,
it's cool.
People were talking about the water part earlier, and I was like, I swear I've played one of the Call of Duty games.
They've done it.
I've been underwater
at least 2 other times. I would say at least 2 other times. I think Ghost had it because I think Ghost was the first time they had it, and I remember in like one of the reveal trailers, like at E3, they were maybe it was like the showcase or whatever. They were showing that in the campaign, when you swim in the water, the fish would swim away from you, and they were like advanced fish AI, and I was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
I fucking remember that. Oh my god! See, they probably just wanted to forget Ghost ever existed because of that.
Ghost is like it's not terrible. It's just not great.
It's
but,
really not.
Fine.
It fell prey to being the cross-gen title.
Yeah, it also like weirdly has like a fan base that still talk. Like if you go to like a Call of Duty thread on Reddit, for example, like there are still plenty of people that hold Ghost up as like their favorite, which to me is weird as hell. But like
that is
whatever,
bizarre.
I guess. Like it's got its fan base. I mean, for me, it's Infinite Warfare just for the campaigns. So I guess I can't talk.
I was gonna say, I don't think in general people tend to like that one either.
Infinite Warfare has the best campaign, the single best campaign of all the Call of Duties except for Black Ops 2, and I will die.
It was let's see, was Infinite Warfare? No, Infinite Warfare wasn't the Kevin Spacey one. Kevin Spacey
is the Advanced Warfare one, which we're getting a sequel to on the next Call of Duty, supposedly. The next one after this one will be an Advanced Warfare sequel, which like could be cool. I'll go back to exosuits. I don't care.
But like, speaking of like Warzone 2 and bugs, I don't know if you've gotten this bug, James, but half the fucking time when I get out of a match, it puts me into the Warzone 2 lobby.
When
Really?
you all
The thing that
described
doesn't
that to me
No.
on the
The
call,
thing that
I
doesn't
was laughing
exist.
so hard.
So
It's
what?
fucking stupid.
What happened to Jacob and I 3 separate times was it would lock us into a infinite like connecting after we would leave a match before it like loaded into the next lobby, but it wouldn't boot us to Warzone. It would just be like we'd have to restart the whole game, both of us, and then rejoin together. And then it's fine for like 4 matches, and then it does it again. So
I don't know
really
if I've gotten
bizarre.
that. To be fair, so Modern Warfare 2019, if you go play that right now, I think it's literally like every other game I get disconnected from the party. Like the party breaks up after every match in 2019, right? So like 2019 is fucking busted as is,
Oh
right?
no, you
Whereas,
don't play Call of Duties more than 1 game behind the current. You never do that.
Yeah, but 2019 was so good though.
I know, but you never do that.
to be fair, it's not even that I think it was so good. It was realistically that's the only game Matt plays. So if I want to play games with Matt, then I have to
That's what you
play.
gotta do.
I have to play Call of Duty. But like, no, Modern Warfare 2 is so fucking dumb. Like, it's in back to the Warzone lobby, so you can't like edit your classes or anything there. It's so stupid. And like,
I will say,
there's this other bug where like a couple of the kill streaks, when you pull up the little tablet to like call in the kill streak or whatever. There's this bug where it'll occasionally get stuck, and you have to stare at it for 30 seconds.
That
you can't
hasn't
move.
happened
You
to
can't
me.
put it away.
that hasn't
just
happened to
stare
me in
at
this
it.
one, but that definitely happened to me, I think, in Vanguard and the 2019 Modern Warfare a couple of times.
Oh, Jesus. Like, it's so buggy. And then, what's interesting, too, is, like, Halo Infinite Winter Update drops next Tuesday, so, like, 6 days from today, right? And I think when that happens, I'm going to be playing more Halo than COD, which I am surprised by. And maybe that'll only be true until like Warzone 2 drops. I don't know. But like I don't know. Like I'm playing particularly when I played COD initially on launch day on Friday. Which I will say, you were able to play it on launch day, so that was a plus, right? Like the fact that you were able to actually just like join a game and play, right? Like
unironically huge.
I mean, yeah,
so many people on the first day, like servers do not work for big
No, I know,
companies.
but like technically that should be the bare minimum. Like
it's crazy, right?
It should be,
before the last like 5 years, that should be the bare minimum. And I know the industry has grown, and there's like way higher populations. And like obviously the technology is like relatively newish, it's always changing, but like it shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't.
For sure. But yeah, no, like I mean the first day I was playing, which I have another callback for launch day. But so I was playing it, and honestly, like really what I was thinking is I was kind of just like I kind of want to just go play Halo. Right, like, and I think the only reason I was thinking that is because a couple weeks ago, I don't remember when, I actually played with a group of 4 people, right? And not only that, but like one of the people we were playing with was the guy who like actually makes you play as a team, and so like it was actually super enjoyable. So like we played 4-player Halo Infinite and like actually like did call outs and stuff like that, not like super sweaty call outs, right? But just like standard like, hey, we should go get this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, there's a dude behind you. Very standard stuff, not like super sweaty stuff. And then afterwards, we went and played Social Slayer. We did some like Purple Rain, fucking Rockin' Repulsors and Kong Slayer, which Kong Slayer is hilarious. It's literally just only fusion coils and you just throw them and you jump really high. It's perfect. It's the perfect goofy side of Halo, and I was so happy to play it. And so like I had a super great time playing that day. And then I was playing COD. I was kind of just like, I was sucking, right? Like I wasn't doing well. And COD in particular, when we're not doing well, is terrible because the other team then does well, and then they get the kill streaks, right? And so it's just like it's fuck. It's just kind of like, damn. And then the other thing is, COD is just like, I swear to God, like normals in COD, and maybe this is just because I'm pretty good at shooters. Not spectacular, but pretty good. And so maybe it's just like my MMR in COD is at the point where people are just sweaty as fuck all the time.
Oh no, it was like that for me and Jacob too. And like we're not that good. Not anymore.
Okay, because like normals in COD, which I don't even know when was the last time they had a ranked mode. I don't remember. I'm sure they'll have a ranked playlist, right?
Yeah.
But fucking normals are so goddamn sweaty. Like I swear to God, ranked in Halo is less sweaty than normals in COD, and I don't understand why.
Well, part of it's the PC players, and weren't you telling me they tell you now, right?
Yes.
When the fucking PC player kills you, you gotta know.
Yes. So this fucking grinds my gears to no end. I honestly wish they wouldn't show me. Like the fact that they show you in the lobby now, they show you what platform they're playing on and what input device they're using. I've been making a note of it. I have been making a note of who is playing on PC on the other team, and it was literally like 4 or 5 games in a row. That person was always the top scorer on the other team.
Yeah,
4 or 5 games, like consistently.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
This is why I'm so particular about it. Like they're just objectively going to be faster than you and more precise.
Yeah, and
at first I thought that them telling you was a good thing.
Halo.
Like at first, I really thought that like, hey, now at least you have the consolation.
No,
I
wanted to live in ignorant bliss.
I came around.
I'd so much rather
being able to think like,
bliss.
oh, they're just really sick at the game.
Yeah,
like that feels a lot better.
Just let me just believe that they're just fucking god tier at the game or whatever, right? And to be fair, they're really good at the game too, right? Like, don't get me wrong, right? Like, it's not like
that's my problem with it. Like, I have trouble giving them that credit because I know there's the difference in our inputs. When you're probably right, most of the time they're beating you probably because they're also just better.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've had this, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but like, I think in general, people who play shooters on PC or just games on PC in general tend to be on average better and or try hardier. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with trying hard. Like, I mean, go for it, dude. If you're playing a fucking game, you want to win, go ahead and win. I'm not saying don't be a sweat. I'm just saying, like, fuck, sometimes I can't, I don't want to deal with the sweat, right? Like,
dude,
I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, go ahead, but like, fuck, it's so rough sometimes.
One of the toughest parts with that is that the current quick play, like group of game modes they have, it's so from what I remember when I was younger, is quick play never until like Modern Warfare probably is the first one I remember.
You're filtering it, right, James?
Well, sure, yeah. I was just going to say, by default, quick play now has the no respawn modes included in it. It has search and destroy, and then there are a couple of new ones that are no respawn. And those
love Prisoner Rescue.
Prisoner Rescue is stupid because it's just Counter-Strike, and it's a worse version of Counter-Strike. Which I have a really funny story that Greg will at least appreciate from a game we did earlier. But like nobody else will care because it's just very specific to Call of Duty.
I would love to hear this, but I think the reason it's better than Counter-Strike is the respawns. I think reviving your teammates.
I think
makes
reviving
it
is better, but I think the game mode overall is a worse Counter-Strike.
I mean, that's probably true, yes. But you can revive your teammates, and I like that. So that makes me happy.
How is it closer to Counter-Strike than Search and Destroy? Search and Destroy is like literally Counter-Strike.
It's because Search and Destroy obviously has the bomb gameplay of Counter-Strike, but Prisoner Rescue is just like the hostage rescue of Counter-Strike. But to me, it feels more true to it. I couldn't put my finger on exactly why, but like you're right, it is a no respawn, objective mode, which like is what Counter-Strike is at its core. But yeah, the thing that happened, have you played the like border crossing bridge map, Greg? And like the
fucking love it. Not gonna lie, I know people hate it. I love it. I love it so much.
So just to give everybody an idea, including Packy. So you guys know how like every Call of Duty game always has like cars on the multiplayer maps that you can blow up and like they'll kill people around them, right? Like it's just an environmental hazard. The border crossing map, because it's a border crossing on a bridge, is all cars. There's like 40 goddamn cars. And so it's really funny, but it is not a good map at all. But
so for Prisoner Rescue in particular, it's terrible because the cars reset each round.
It's that,
right? So
and
it's
also
not like they blow up and then
it is a narrow map. It's like a single lane that is really narrow, full of explosive cars, and it's on a bridge, so there's a slight like incline to it with like the middle of the map being higher than the rest of it, and so you can't see the other side unless you're like right up on the middle. And so it's open top too. There's no like roof. So it's all just grenade throws over the middle of the map into all the cars that blow up the whole time. And it's really, really funny. Like it's not, it's
so
awful,
good.
but it's so funny. But specifically what happened earlier, we were playing Prisoner Rescue and our team was winning. And the point of the game is to get to 500 points. Usually it's like, a certain number of rounds or whatever. And me and Jacob, our team was doing great. And we were about to win. And I kept sitting there waiting, and I was like, I'm waiting for because it was like the middle of the game, and you usually get a feel for when the other team is like hoarding their kill streaks to use them to turn the tide, right? Usually like middle of the game, maybe like right when you're about to like actually win. And I was like waiting, and I was like, man, they're not using any kill streaks. Like, are we just doing that well? And randomly a chopper gunner appeared like instantly out of nowhere, and I guess the spawns for it, like usually in like the most recent Call of Duty games, like they spawn off of the map and then fly in, so you have at least a little time to react. For that map, it literally spawned in the dead center of the map over top of us instantly, and because it's no respawns, it's 5-on-5, and there's explosive car hazards everywhere. That guy wiped our team instantly, and it was just so funny because it was so sudden. It was just out of nowhere.
Dude, I love that map though. Like last night I was playing and
fully enjoyed any
you got to bust out the Joker.
Stupid.
Bust out the Joker on that
Don't even
map.
call it the Joker. Stop the Joker. It's a dumb name for that weapon because it's
the javelin. Bust
so
out the
stupid.
Javelin.
I hate it.
Oh my god, dude.
Why do people call
so
it the
fun.
Joker?
It's probably a
That's what they call it
licensing
in game
thing.
now.
That's like a lot of stuff. Just like they have to avoid licensing the actual name of the things, and so a lot of stuff. Call of Duty. It's like basically since Modern Warfare, they've had to change the names.
They literally can't call it the weapon name.
I mean, I don't know if they can or can't, but they haven't.
Well, it's because the manufacturer. They probably have to pay the manufacturer.
Yeah,
right?
like I'm sure that's part of what it is. But that's why like a ton of the guns aren't the actual names that they are quote unquote supposed to be. Like the M4 is still the M4. But a ton of other guns are just random bullshit names they've come up with. So yeah, the Javelin is the Joker. Jokr, and I hate it. It's so stupid.
But so wait, so was that the James, you were saying you had a funny like story about Counter-Strike specifically, or was it
it was
the bridge story?
It was just that
the
chopper gunner literally hit us like a train out of nowhere in the middle of the map when we were pretty sure the other team had no kills because they again we were wrecking them. They didn't have enough kills.
Was it just a care package or like
I don't know.
Or what?
I don't know. I have no idea. But it was so funny.
Oh my god! I think going back to why I think I don't like this game as much as I thought I would. So I mentioned it's because I'm bad. And to be fair, that's I also said the more I'm playing, the more I'm warming up to it, and that's because the less bad I'm getting. It's a little rusty, right? But I will say the whole shooting doesn't make you show up on the minimap thing really fucks with me. It is ingrained into me in Call of Duty, and like I am not good at that game. I'm not good at most shooters because I'm quick on the draw, right? Like I'm good at them because I have map awareness and like I understand that like these dots here mean this and play accordingly to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I lay down in this corner and I wait for the red dots to pop up while they shoot my teammates, and then I come out of the corner and then I shoot at the red dots and I can get kills, and then I can go back to the corner. And then I'm like,
no. I'm a good player. It's more like I'm running around doing my thing and I see the red dot behind me and I turn around, right? Or more importantly, like the stuff that a lot of people don't do is they see the blue dots on the map disappear and they don't realize, oh, I should turn around because someone behind me just died, right? Like, but yeah, so like that part's really fucking with me. Like it's driving me crazy. I'll eventually get used to it.
Well,
dude, bust out the gamer headset and just listen for the
To be
sounds.
fair,
it doesn't. It's not the same.
I just want to say they have added more things than ever for you to have the replacement for that map awareness of having the dots.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
Well, I'm just saying there are so many things you can put down or equip. Or like
the portable radar is very nice.
Portable radar. There's the heartbeat sensor. There's just
I haven't
the overall
gotten sensor yet, actually.
the overall like soundscape of the game, which is better than it was in the past.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like footsteps are way easier to hear. For sure.
I literally looked up in the like in the skybox of the game earlier because like I'm usually the one who runs with a launcher as my secondary just for the easy points of killing whatever's in the air. And there was 5 enemy UAVs flying overhead at the same time in like a tight circle.
that's
many ways.
my other follow up.
There's so many other ways to look at the map.
Why the fuck are there so many UAVs?
Because everybody's running it, and it's relatively easy to get.
It's so like I found that like
points.
I have to run a launch, which most of the time I'm that guy anyways. I use a score streak and I run a launcher and I take down UAVs for 100 points on the score streak, exactly. Right? But like it feels fucking mandatory in this game. Like, and to be fair, it's probably been that way for a very long time.
I would say it has.
But it feels extra mandatory in this game. Like there's always a UAV in the sky. It is so rough. And like which actually that brings up the point of like, oh, I could just run Ghost, but then the perk system is interesting. I think I like it. I like it.
I think I like it in theory. I don't like it. I don't even think about it in practice. I think that's the issue, is that perks used to be like something you would make a conscious choice about, at least even if it was like the easy choice of running where you wouldn't show up on UAV or whatever. Now I don't think about it at all, and it just kind of happens in the background, and it's a weird change. Like it's fine, but
which for those who are listening and you've played past CODs, but maybe you haven't played this one yet,
so far.
It really is, but that's okay. So the way the new perk system works is well, actually, there's two interesting things about it. So the most important thing about the new perk system is you have 4 perks now, and so 2 of them you get. Yeah,
4?
instead of like
oh my God. It used to be like
in the past it was 3 or 6 or something.
It would be 3 to 6 when they added the like choose 10 or whatever, so the pick 10.
Yes. But so the way it works now is you get 2 initially, and then as the game progresses, you get your 3rd, and then you get your 4th. And these perks are assigned to those slots, right? So like if you want Ghost, for example, you don't unlock Ghost until about, I don't know, a third of the way through the match, I feel like. Roughly,
probably
maybe a half of the way through the match. I don't know, which is a very interesting idea. But I think, like you pointed out, it's like maybe you're not like it's you have to now think about this, right? Like you have to think about like, oh, do I have Ghost yet? Right? Like I know it's on my class, but have I unlocked it yet? And so like they have a UAV in the sky. Do I need to like be aware of that, or does it not matter because I'm running Ghost?
The thing is, I just don't think about it anymore. Like it literally is like so out of the way. And I think part of it for me personally is the reason that it's so out of the way is the game starts you with, I think, 5 or 6 pre-made perk choices that you can choose. Like just like how you have like
pretty good combos, yeah.
But like they're just like the built-in classes that you always have when you start the game. Like this is the class that has an M4 and something else already, and then eventually you unlock the ability to make your own classes. But you unlock the perks to like choose to put into your own custom like style of like perk progression so slowly. I feel like I don't have any of the perks unlocked except for the ones you start with, and so I'm not even using the custom progression.
Just use the built-in ones.
I'm just using the built-in ones because I'm not going to sit there and use the shitty ones they gave me by default. I don't know. It's a weird choice. I feel like.
So that's the other thing that is kind of bizarre. Is so in the past games you put your perks on a class and that was it. Nowadays, you build a perk set, and whatever the fuck they call it. I mean, I'm just going to call it a set of perks. and then you assign that set of perks to your class. And so, like, theoretically, the reason this would be good is you have, like, paradigms or whatever you want to call it. And so, like, you run the same perks on the same set of classes. So, you know, if you're I don't know, you got 3 classes and they're all using the same perks. Instead of going and updating all 3 of those places, you can now just go update your perk set, and then that automatically updates those 3 places. The problem is that's kind of annoying because what if I don't want that? Right? Like, what if I want to just go change a perk on one of those 3 and not have it affect the others?
You make another custom
I know I'm well aware, right? But this kind of feels like some guy had the brilliant idea of like, what if we make these reusable guys? And it's like, but you really didn't need to. Like,
I think that's a lot of the game. It's a lot of choices they didn't have to make, and it's making the game a slog just in general. Like again, it's fine, it's playable. It's honestly the same mindless fun that Call of Duty always... Like, I liked Vanguard, and Vanguard was not good. It was just turn your brain off and shoot at a wall in a 2x2 box for 3 hours, that's what this game is to me right now, which is fine.
Absolutely.
But it's like
Great game series. Really, really
like the
good
Prithvi
game.
It is extremely successful. I'm pretty sure I saw things saying this is, sold faster than any other Call of Duty ever before,
always
right?
Than the last, right?
And that's why I'm so surprised by these choices. Is this is such a commonly understood thing about Call of Duty that it's really unga bunga shoot at people.
Yeah,
and like
because they have to
that's
change
what people
it. They
like
have
about
to change it somewhat, right? Like
they don't
it
have
has to be
EA
somewhat
doesn't change
different.
any of their dumb shit sports games every year. They just change the rosters.
Dude, I wanted
to be fair,
say
I don't think those sales are going up every year though. That's the thing.
Probably
FIFA
not.
profits
Call of
for
Duty
2K
sales.
and FIFA are improving. They recently, in the past like 3 years, started to take a dip as people realized how hard they're getting milked. But up until 2019, that was 20 plus years of game series that are have been incredibly similar since they started being made in the 1990s. There was a story I have to tell. You were talking about very early into this about how Call of Duty it's really frustrating to encounter bugs in Call of Duty when it's like essentially the same game.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, how are we hitting bugs with this?
And it has so much money behind it too, and like massive teams. Like they have the 3 mainline studios, and then I don't even know how many supporting studios, like 6, that are specifically there only to support the development of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like those studios used to make their own games and like were good, and now they only are there for auxiliary support. It's
and all
ridiculous.
Those resources, it's like, we talked. There's a bunch of changes, but more or less the same. Like meat and bones of Call of Duty is the same. Like very, very similar. Like from one game to another, right? It's really. It's jarring when they change it a bunch.
That's why, like Modern Warfare, they were relatively small changes, but they felt like they were nice and they were like significant. Like,
yeah,
this one's it's pretty.
So
it's very safe, which is why it's weird that it's not good.
Exactly, and so because they played it safe, because it's similar, when things that you saw in the previous game that worked and now they're broken in the new one, like it's all the more frustrating, right? Because it feels like
Cold War, especially, it was like 4 steps back while still trying to be a straight copy of Modern Warfare. I was like, what are you doing?
No, there was this. We were talking about FIFA, and all of this led to, I so vividly remember one of my roommates in college was really, really good at FIFA. Everybody played it at my school, and he'd always liked the series. And one of these times he's playing a pretty meaningless game in his room, and someone kicks like a dumb bad shot, but the goalie jumps in a way that's weird, where like it's very slowly, it's rolling right into his goddamn hands, and then he just makes a dumb leap that makes him miss it, and the ball rolls at like a snail's pace into the goal. And he fucking loses it. And he's like, over a decade of goalie AI programming, and that's what we have. This is the result of all of these years of work, was that. And because he was playing he's playing like Germany or something. He was really, really good.
So sorry, everyone who just had their ears fucked beyond
Dude,
belief.
I could not breathe. I heard it from my room, similar volume. I heard it from my room. And oh my God. It's just such it's one of those things that like, one of those random memories sometimes you'll have and you'll just laugh and, But yeah, beautiful moments with these really well-made games. FIFA, all the same, has been well-funded pretty much since the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And they still do a bad job.
I'm not sure that's true, actually. I kind of get the impression FIFA's not well-funded, and they just do literally the bare minimum to milk a shit ton of money out of people.
I think at times they haven't been well-funded, but certainly
it should be well-funded.
Since like 2012, I think they've been well-funded. Like, I think they...
That surprises me, to be honest.
2K does not get a lot of money. 2K is the one where like they just milk their users. They genuinely have a pretty small development team for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
FIFA, I think, has a little bit more. We'll see, though.
Honestly, the last thing I would say about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is just bizarre UI and UX, whether that be the perks. Yeah, like the UI for like just the thing itself. People compare it to Hulu, which I mean, I guess, but like it's really just it's a row of things that you can move to the right. I mean, Hulu doesn't have a fucking patent on that. Everybody and their goddamn motherfucking mom does that same UI.
It's definitely a streaming service style UI, though.
Yeah.
As someone who unfortunately spends a lot of time scrolling through streaming services and hates it with a bleeding passion,
you and the rest of America,
not many things make me as like in my DNA, like soul-bound, bored, angry, frustrated as having to scroll through and try to figure out what show we're gonna watch, like for whatever.
Yeah.
When like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I mean, like the main UI is like weird and not great, and then obviously, like I don't like the UX of the perk system, like I just talked about, and then going into the gunsmith, right? So, they did this thing with the weapon platforms. Is that what they call them? The weapon bases or whatever?
Yeah.
Which, like, is a kind of a cool idea. It seems like you're unlocking stuff pretty quickly, right? Because, like, once you unlock the new gun, you already have the attachments.
I don't like it for any other reason.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that, like, it kind of gets you to play different guns. Like, if you want to use this gun, you have to go use this other one.
Yeah.
And then once you've done that, then you have the attachments that you earned on the one on the second one.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, if you go to just like create a class and like go to find your gun, it's like, oh, to unlock this you have to get level 16 with gun blah, and it's like, okay, well, what the fuck is gun blah? Like, it's not an assault rifle. So then you have to go through like every single type of gun to find gun blah that you have to then play to like unlock this other one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I realize I think you can go into the gunsmith and then click like a button to view the weapon family and then maybe see it from there.
It's the big like touchpad button.
Which, on Xbox
really hard to
it's
read
the view button.
UI,
yeah, the select button.
Again,
it's just so not good.
That's such a weird
it's not
decision.
terrible. It's just
because
not good.
It's like a tech tree system, and as someone who obviously like loves strategy games and like all the Civilization games ever, it's cool to have like a tech tree system where, hey, if you use the M4, you'll unlock the derivatives of the M4, so you'll get like the LMG based off the M4. Like, that's cool. I like the idea. I like the way it progresses. I don't like how it actually works in practice when you're trying to navigate the actual gunsmith itself.
Yeah,
and also they all have like the same name, and like you said, it's impossible to figure out like what's what.
It'll be like the Brocken 800 and then the Brocken 890. I made up this fucking name. I don't know what the fuck it's called.
That's pretty much what it is.
Like, it's just so mad.
And it's even worse because of what we said earlier, where they can't use the actual names for like the licensing. And so you're like, I want to use an AK, and then it's called like the KS721, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck a KS721 is.
Exactly. It's like, what is this?
Do they have an AK-47 in it?
They do. They have an AK-47, a 74, an AK-74U. They have like the full range of AK guns, but they don't have their actual like names. And that's like the least licensed thing in the world.
I was going to say, I swear they didn't have to do that. I swear AK-47
that one
is
specifically you shouldn't have to do because it doesn't matter.
This feels like an intentional choice. Again, this is just another design decision that is so bizarre to me because, again, my image of Call of Duty fans, I assume they like focus test this with a room full of them, and they all exploded like gorillas when they explain this idea. They're like, no, I just want to play the same gun! I just want to use my assault rifle! And like just lost their minds. So it's crazy to me they would implement a system like that.
I mean, people do seem to like the new challenge system with the guns and stuff. I mean, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to get gold guns. I'm not going to get Damascus. I'm going to hop on. I'm going to shoot some dudes in the face. And realistically, I'm going to find a gun I like, and I'm never going to fucking switch from it. And
what
I'm
is it
use the
to
same
get
gun
Damascus again?
All the time. I think it's to get at least gold on every single gun in the game, I think, or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
How do you get gold on a gun?
So it's changed over the years, obviously. It used to, I think, mainly just be like get headshots with it or something. But now there's just each gun has their own challenges, right?
Okay. So it's kind of like a series. So that's at least a little more fun.
Yeah, there's definitely more nuance to it now instead of just only do this one thing for every single gun.
That's what I remember. I thought it was like get 10,000 kills or something crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it used to be. Like if we go back to like original Modern Warfare 2, Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was literally get kills and get headshots was how you
Yep.
unlocked camos, and
Yep.
that was basically it.
And then I know Modern Warfare 2019 had it where there was like branches of camo, and each branch was a different kind of kill usually. So like one was just regular kills, one was headshots, one was kills while crouched, one was kills like while mounted on the terrain, which is like that was cool because then you could at least like switch up what you were doing. But yeah, I don't know what this one. I haven't looked into it on this.
I remember Damascus. I only remember hearing about Damascus because we had 2 friends attempt to get it, and I know at least one got it. I think both did.
So Matt definitely has it. I believe Doug has it, but I'm not sure.
Exactly. He was very, very close. I know that, but yeah, I just remember it took them so much. But he played specifically
Again,
Doug.
That's literally the only game Matt plays. So like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, like he will definitely end up getting it. I looked it up. It's a lot. Like it's a healthy number. I should compare it to my Modern Warfare 3 numbers. Because if I recall, that is still my most played game on Xbox of all time, is Modern Warfare 3.
It's crazy.
It is fucking crazy. I mean, that just goes to show you why I bought Modern Warfare 2, is because, yeah, I like to shooty. What can I say?
I still think it'd be fun to go get, like, our total WoW hours, which you can do. But I will only show mine if I get to see, like, Max's ARC hours or something like that. Something equally mortifying.
The ARC hours are particularly mortifying because it's over such a smaller period of time.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm confident no matter what game we pick.
That's really scary about it.
My WoW hours are probably higher, which is going to be really sad. But I want to pick someone else's where it's like, hey, for at least the amount of time that you spend on this game, your hours are really absurd.
But so I want to call back to a previous episode. So, at one point I asked you guys about, various traditions you had, and James, you mentioned, obviously like game launches and stuff like that. And so,
yeah, you all talked about your lame stuff, and then we talked about my really cool drinking story. I remember that.
Yes, good, yeah. which actually, low key, anyone who's listening to this who hasn't listened to that episode, go listen to that episode. It is a really great episode. But so I took a vacation day. I took the day off work for the launch. I didn't actually. It's kind of funny. I didn't take the day off work to play Call of Duty, quote unquote, or per se. I took the day off work to beat Plague Tale Requiem so that by the end of the day I could play Call of Duty when other people were online.
Someone running the games department at Microsoft just creamed themselves. I really had to rush to beat one of your games on your game service that you advertise so I could then go and play the game obsessively that you're from your biggest acquisition. Well, pending.
Which that I was gonna say that acquisition is so fucking funny, dude. I honestly have no idea what's gonna happen with that. And
I don't think anybody does.
If those, yeah, I mean, clearly no one fucking knows. I mean, the UK I think is being kind of pissy about it, but we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, so I took Friday off, beat Plague Tale Requiem. Again, fantastic game. Absolutely so fucking good. Everybody should play that game. Play Innocent first, and if you don't want to play Innocence, then don't play Innocence and just play Requiem. It doesn't matter. It's still fucking phenomenal. But yeah, so took the day off, beat that. And so throwing back to that, and I did that in the people listening can't see it, but I did that wearing this that day, which it's my absolutely glorious Xbox onesie.
Now is an excellent time to reiterate that Microsoft gives us $0 and 0 cents for any of this.
Can they give us some money, please? Please, can someone pay me for doing this?
They really should.
Which this onesie is so great. It was a Christmas gift.
It is really good. It just looks good.
Susie one year.
I think most gamer gear looks really bad, and that is a genuinely good looking sweatshirt.
Well, it's not just a sweatshirt. It's all the way down to the pants.
Well, it looks like a sweatshirt. Like if it actually looks like a onesie, I would not be complimenting it.
In person, obviously, it looks a little more onesie like. But anyways, no, it was a really good day. Just like staying home and taking the day off work and playing Requiem and COD and hanging out in my onesie and just being absolutely incredibly lazy. Like it was a really good day. And then it didn't catch me as much as I wanted it to catch me, that part was sad. But other than that, it was a really good day. I feel like there was something else that I wanted to call back to, and I absolutely cannot remember what it is.
Oh, I assumed that there were just other Game Pass releases that you hadn't mentioned yet this podcast, and we're hoping to work those in.
Oh, well, I did see that Dune Spice Wars is coming to PC Game Pass. James, should I play it?
Oh my god, is it really?
Yeah.
Get
Yeah, dude. Game Pass is fucking legit.
anything popular.
It is a real. If you like Dune, like as me, I love the first book especially, and I'm in the process of reading the other books. And I think it's like a fantastic setting. And loves obviously like strategy games. I think it's a really, really well made game. It's really pretty. It's a great representation of the franchise, of like the canon and the lore and everything. And like they're actively updating it. If you have not played the studio's previous game, Northgard, you may not like it as much because the style they have for the strategy games is a little unique. I think it's really cool, but it's definitely different than some other stuff. But Northgard's really good too, and it's actually on sale right now, I think. So
it's on sale all the time. That's why you said really Northgard, and I was like, that's the one game that I see, and people always recommend when it's on sale.
It's really good, yeah, and like it's really cool. But Dune Spice Wars definitely feels like Northgard just in the Dune universe, but it's cool. I haven't played it a ton. Because I was going to play it with Jacob, but then he never got it. But it's good.
I wanted to look it up on Metacritic. It's really well rated on Steam, which is for these like
which one, Dune?
Yeah, Dune Spice Wars, which usually with like games that come from big IPs, it's usually like one way or the other, right? Where it's people really, really love it, or it's a 4 out of 10.
Big in like circles that we would know, but I think overall, other than obviously having the movie that just came out, I think like in the
I was gonna say, I think they just had a massive blockbuster. Like
I wouldn't say it's a massive blockbuster. I think it was a movie that had it's like Blade Runner. Like it's extremely well liked by people who know about it and like watched it and like it already. But I wouldn't say Dune.
Well, I think the new one was trying to get beyond that, and I feel like it succeeded in doing that. But also, this is not based in any level of fact whatsoever.
It
was good.
The worst version on Hulu's HBO platform. The audio is absolutely fucked, and so I have not been able to watch it yet. But I would really want to because I like Timothée Chalamet and I love Dune. So.
And it's and Oscar Isaacs and Zendaya.
And Denis Villeneuve, who is a fantastic director. Arrival is fantastic. Yes. All of his stuff's fantastic. So. While we're talking about, this isn't game related at all, but I guess it could be like vaguely vague.
Go ahead.
But like while we're talking about things to watch, just want to say it because it's really good. Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix is fantastic.
Yeah, I've not heard of that one.
It's Guillermo del Toro, which is why I said it's vaguely game related because he was in Death Stranding. But obviously a big famous director, creator. But it's his show on Netflix, and it's an anthology where they've adapted a bunch of like short stories from various artists. Like there's 2 Lovecraft short stories on there, but there are 2 specific of the 8 episodes that are extremely good. And I recommend the whole thing. Like it's very well made, even the episodes that aren't as good. But episode 3 and 7 are really good if you like sci-fi.
Cool.
And they have Ron Weasley from Harry Potter in it.
Yeah,
so you must watch
his episode was pretty good, and that's one of the Lovecraft ones. That's episode 6, I think. I think 5 and 6 are the 2 Lovecraft stories.
Oh, so sorry, I was so enthralled with looking at the different actors. Is it like? It sounds a little like Black Mirror.
I mean, it's a horror sci-fi anthology. But that's
Black Mirror.
I mean, I know but specifically Black Mirror like is its own stories. This is specifically adaptations of 8 pre-existing. I think they're all short stories. Cool. Like obviously, I know the Lovecraft ones.
That is cool. I like that a lot.
But like Black Mirror's well made, but this legitimately like Netflix really obviously Netflix has so much money, but sometimes they don't actually put it towards their properties. This is really well made. Like the performances are all great. the visuals. Like I was expecting with it being like horror, some pretty cheesy like TV quality horror like CGI and stuff, and it's really good. Like that's why I'm like recommending it so hard, because it's really well made. And I would probably chalk up a lot of that to just it's Guillermo del Toro, who like, you know, if you've seen any of his stuff, he like really tries to make things believable and look good and be grounded in their own setting. So, you know.
Yeah, that's why I was so surprised I hadn't heard of it. Like Guillermo del Toro stuff gets a lot of traction.
Yeah, it's really good. Like really, really good. So definitely recommend. We have one more. We have the last episode to watch still, but it's 1 through 7 are solid. Specifically, 3 and 7 are my favorite.
I'll have to check that out once I get Netflix again. We are in our off Netflix peak in our rotating of streaming services. At the moment we're on Hulu at the moment, which I can't remember what I was going to call back to. So let's move on to, instead of what are we playing, yeah, let's do the what are we watching. And I'll tie this in still too. We are watching Rick and Morty finally, and we did make it past the first season, and it did get better. And it is still an overrated show. It's a good show. It's absolutely a good show.
That's fair. Yeah.
It is still overrated.
It's good.
It is overrated. So fucking overrated.
It has a lot of great moments and one-off lines. I actually just saw one today. But I think also a lot of people overblow, like, you know, that you'll get to if you haven't already, the Pickle Rick episode. Like, it's
not so annoying just because of the fan obsession.
I mean, I think the meme of Pickle Rick is representative of everyone's approach to literally the whole show. Like, it's an overblown adoration of it from top to bottom.
Absolutely.
That like clearly isn't really, except for I think
it's not absurd. It's a good show though, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny and entertaining and well made. But
I think it's good when it's trying to be good, if that makes sense. When they're trying to be clever and trying to be innovative and new, it's good. And the rest of the time, when they're just trying to be a funny cartoon, it sucks, or it's not very good.
Well, it's also interesting because like you can tell Dan Harmon is the creator of the show. Like if you've watched Community, like there are so many things there that like give me like strong Community vibes, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then you can also tell when Dan Harmon went a little too Dan Harmon and it just falls flat and isn't funny and to anybody in the world except him. Because like there are definitely a couple of Community episodes like that, and there is at least one of Rick and Morty where I was just like, this episode is absolutely not funny in the slightest, and like I just want it to end. But for the most part, no, they're really good, and you know, you're talking about like one-offs and stuff like that. And so I will admit, I am probably enjoying it more than I would have if not for Multiverses. So clearly Multiverses succeeded, because that is literally the entire reason that fucking game exists, is to get you to go watch all these things. And it worked. And like, not only that, right, but like the fact that like, you know, playing Rick in the game, he's got like the skis, he's got like the fucking thing. And then obviously the Cromulon stage, which like I was aware of the Cromulon episode before the game anyways, right? But especially after the game, right? Like, you know, the first episode is Morty shoving the seat up his ass. And so, like, I was like,
still one of the weirder choices of them to refer to in the moveset. It's such a random thing. And it's such a random move because it's Rick who's just like shoving it upwards. And you just see the seat. Because it took me a minute to process what it was when I first saw it. And I was like, oh, it's a good callback. And it's the only way they could have made it that wasn't ridiculously inappropriate.
Yeah, well, so I've seen that. I've seen we just watched the Cromulon one. So like obviously that's the stage, and so that was great. And then we watched the one too where he has the miniverse, and that's I think the first time he busts out the Sanchez skis. I don't know if he busts them out again, but he busts out the Sanchez skis in that, which is also one of his moves in Multiverses. And so I was just like, the game has definitely made me appreciate the show more. But like I said, like it's a good show anyways. I don't think it's any better than like peak Archer, for example, right? You know, if in terms of like adult animated
incredibly
shows, right?
Similar.
Like
because they're both very like.
I feel like peak Archer is just as good, if not better. So I don't know.
Yeah, Peak Archer is really excellent. Yeah, you're comparing it to another really good one.
6 seasons. But
well, I know, but like.
That was insanely popular during its run.
I don't think it achieved, and maybe it's because it was popular but not as memey, but like it doesn't I don't feel like Archer gets the same, maybe it gets more praise, but it doesn't get as intense of praise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
And
don't
I
know.
think this
Rick
all
and
ties back to
Morty-
like the online attention that it has gotten has taken away from the show
Yeah.
for your experience.
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure. And
for
that's
sure.
why for a long time I haven't watched it, right? And then people recommended it, and obviously it was in multiverses, and so we gave it a go. And it did not like the first couple. It has since grown on me though, and I now thoroughly enjoy it now. But so to wrap this all up, Packy, I will pose to you a multiple. You get to pick your adventure. What have you been playing or watching, or both, if you feel like telling us both?
Trying to think. I'll probably do playing. Just nobody. We're not going to turn this into a sport because the two things I'm watching are sport. Like I do. There's really three main things that I watch because I think or four reruns of shows that I already like.
Yep.
Because when my favorite shows are still comedy, but I think so many comedy shows today are garbage. Even a lot of the ones that I used to like, they're Archer's a great example of a show that I used to be really funny, love. Now it's trash. It's Always Sunny. It's similar.
Aw.
No, It's Always
I
Sunny
know.
is still good.
Okay, not
It's
trash.
still good.
But the podcast is better than the show. I think you could safely say that.
The current podcast is better than the current show. Yes.
Which is bonkers. So I don't know. Again, it doesn't seem my standards are too high now for comedy TV, which I think is its best
You
version.
should watch Veep if you haven't yet. Veep is really good.
Veep is so
That's what I need to
good.
watch.
I've just
So
finished a second
good.
rewatch. It's the best insult comedy of any show that I've ever seen. It's so funny.
I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is just fucking
Oh,
phenomenal, and like there's one scene in there that's got the memes, and so I'm sure you recognize it too. Seeing the nervous chuckle, what the fuck? Or it's so good. But no, I mean that entire
Yeah, you should
show is
watch it.
just she's phenomenal in that show. I mean the entire cast is phenomenal in that show, but her especially, obviously. Anyways, Packy, so
Sorry.
not sports.
Yeah. So anyway, like
Which
games.
also you can tell us what you're playing, and then we can cut it, and then we can do like you can just ramble on about the NBA if you want for 20 minutes, and I'll just put it up as a fucking bonus
yeah,
episode.
like I literally watch.
If you want to do that,
basketball,
let's do that.
The Redeem team. Well, the Redeem team on Netflix. If you have no investment in that, i.e., you didn't watch them play in the Olympics, I don't recommend watching the documentary because it really doesn't do a good job of explaining it. Highly recommend watching the documentary about the 1992 Dream Team. It's literally on YouTube for free. It's like an hour 30 minutes. It's really good. It's a really great overview of people being really good at basketball, and also spreading why the NBA is as big as it is literally you can tie so much of it back to that Olympics run. But the rest I'm watching is the F1 series. Nobody cares, and an anime which nobody cares. So I think I would do. Yeah, and I just don't want to give it because I have been playing Gunfire Reborn a little bit, which is another Game Pass game. It's good. I didn't think it was as good as it was billed, which was roguelike Borderlands, which is really funny because Borderlands is specifically trying to do that in their own games in two different iterations now. In Borderlands 3, they tried it as a DLC. In the new Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it's literally like what they wanted to do with Endgame. People did not like it either time, which is such a shame because, again, why Borderlands roguelike is so attractive is they like how they do guns. The gunplay is really, really fun. The builds and talent system integrates very, very well in how do they do gunplay. So when you kind of think of that, it's like, oh, that's going to translate well if somebody just figures out how to like put it into the roguelike formula in the right way. This is definitely not that. What you think of if you like, James, like you're as a fan of the Borderlands series as well. Like the main things you associate with the series, this is not that game. What they have are shields, armor, and red health, and corrosion damage, electric damage, and fire damage that correspond to those three colors. So yay, they're so Borderlands. There's not a ton of gun variety. there's a decent number of guns, but it's not
Yeah.
Borderlands. The whole point is Borderlands will take the same model gun and make it feel different by customizing the different modifiers on it. This game, the modifiers don't do that to nearly the same degree. The roguelike aspect of it is fun. It is very, very similar. I was telling Greg as we played it, I could not figure out, besides the multiplayer aspect, what is different about this game than RoboQuest. Like, they are stupidly similar games, and RoboQuest has been on Game Pass before. So I didn't get it. Again, it's good. It's a roguelike, so I will eventually beat it because now I've started it. And I feel like a quitter when I don't beat it. I'm so close where I just won't have to play this game again.
I've never played it because I swear I remember when it originally came out, like way back, because that was a long time ago now. I swear I remember there being some controversy about it. And I don't even remember what the controversy was, and so I was like, oh, I'm never going to play that. That sounds dumb or looks dumb, and then I've just never touched it. I think Jacob played it when it first came out for a little bit and like tried to get me like kind of interested, but it was pretty half-hearted. And I saw it was coming to Game Pass, but I haven't actually. So
yeah, it's worth a couple rounds, see if you like it, see if you take to it. But yeah, again,
no, it's definitely it's worth playing a couple rounds for sure. I was telling Packy when we were playing it. And actually, it's kind of funny because Packy said, I'm going to try and quote this, of the long-standing tradition of looking at what indie games are doing and then ripping them off in terms of AAA and big guys, right? And as we were playing RoboQuest, literally my thought was, so can they just like sell this to somebody
I did
who
laugh
can
when you
make
said
a
that.
better game?
It's like, all right, it's time for somebody else. Hey, when you get the PS5, go play Returnal. It's a shooter roguelike. And
I wish
it's a AAA take
Returnal
on.
didn't like critically fail for me when I played it, because I really wanted to like it, but I had such a major error with it, and I haven't picked it back up since I.
Did you play it on launch?
No, I didn't play it on launch. I played it for me. It was the first game I bought when I first got the PlayStation
update,
5.
Right?
Yeah, it was a little bit after the multiplayer update, and it was like also at the same time when they added like the save system where you could like, you know, obviously save mid run and then like come back to it. I think it was around that time too. And I was really like, I wasn't hooked yet, but I was interested, obviously. It's also because Jacob has played it and he adores it and was like saying it was so good. And I was like, oh, I got to get more into this. And I remember like backing out of a run, and then I tried to pick it up the next day, and my save file was like not just a save file, like I could not play the game. Like it like deeply corrupted it or something. I have no idea. And there was just too many other things to play, so I uninstalled it. And I'm gonna go back to it at some point, but I just haven't yet. So
I mean, does this count as, you know, Packy, you listened to the episode where you missed where we had Jacob on, and you know, obviously they were talking about how James is just eternally cursed with technology, and this sounds like that.
Really funny.
I can give you another example that's just like weird and funny in the same way. Black Ops 1 on the PlayStation 3. Something happened to my disc copy of it, and I don't know if you guys remember that game, but the menu was like you were like in the like torture room that was like eventually part of the story.
The numbers, Mason.
Yeah,
Mason,
but you were like the main menu was
numbers.
in a like rendered space that was like it was the torture room where you're like tied down. Like it was like not just a menu. It was a like dynamic object. Somehow something happened to my disc of that game where all of the textures got stripped, but you were still in the menu, and instead of it being like actually textured like it was supposed to be with like metal and stuff, it was a red and black tinted chrome texture all over everything. And it looked so like cursed and haunted. And you couldn't actually do anything, but you could get into the menu and then it would just be this weird black and red chrome. I have no idea I have no clue what happened to that game.
Oh my god.
I have the worst luck and I hate it.
On that note, glad to have you back this week, James. I think we'll wrap it up here. And we should have another guest. So if anyone has an idea for a guest, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. I was thinking maybe, if nothing else, we'll have someone, probably my brother, at the end of November for Dragonflight launch.
I think that would be another good one.
Oh, let me just hey, Phil. So you want to not just sponsor us, but also give us your time and come onto our
Well, I mean, they're not
podcast?
going to pay us. They should at least come on here and
Yeah,
Yeah,
at least you could do
it's the
is
polite thing
what
to do.
what do you think his fucking hourly pay is? Absurdly high. Yeah.
No, he and I
Um
probably have similar salaries, right? Like,
yeah,
right?
comparing his hourly rate to
Just
your annual salary is a good comparison.
it might literally be 2 orders of magnitude off.
It's probably
It
more
probably
than
is
that.
actually. It's probably at
I
least
don't I
two
don't make that much
total
money.
comp with stock, right? Because he probably just gets a lot of stock. Is realistically what it is.
Yeah, I think his
And so
salary is wow, it's really low.
it's because it's stock. He's gonna get a shit ton of stock. Is what it is, right? Like
Yeah, his
he's
net
a
worth is only
direct
25 mil.
report to the CEO of the company, right? Anyways, I think that is it for this week.
Mhm.
Glad to have you back, James.
Thank you.
Excellent talking to you all. Thank you, anybody who listened.
Appreciate you guys.
Hopefully, you can find us in more places in the future, and by more places, I mean YouTube. That's really just what I mean. I'm probably gonna. That's literally it. I made the channel, so actually, Jetpack Swords already exists on YouTube, but there's no content there. But I made the channel and I claimed the handle. Anyways, bye everybody.
See ya.